I was able to close the chapter on this buck that we call Squigs here in Nebraska. The story of Squigs really goes back to last year. He was a buck that we had pictures of all summer. He was living at the south end last year. Just a nice, mature, tight rack 9-point. I came down here and rut hunted November 11th, 2022 last year out of the stand that I call the Double Brow stand. It's a stand where I shot my biggest deer of my life, Double Brow, back on Halloween in 2019. So I went in there that November 11th evening, just perfect rut evening, cool northwest winds, and I was covered up with deer. And one of those being was Squigs. I had him twice at 20 yards, dogging does, and then he actually bristled up and ran another buck off. So just a great encounter with him, but he wasn't a deer that was on my radar last year. He broke off his G3, so I just gave him the free pass all year.
It's November 11th, down here in Nebraska, Veterans Day. So thanks to all those people that served for our country, the ones that everyone sacrificed. Some gave the ultimate sacrifice. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for those brave men and women. So, but I'm back down on the river farm. As you might be able to hear, they're finally picking the cornfield on this property, so hopefully that gets us more deer in here. I don't know where anything went. I haven't seen Bubble since the encounter. I haven't seen Splits since October 25th, and I finally picked up a couple more pictures of Junior here in the last couple days. So I got in a little late, and as I was setting up, there's two does that were working behind me on the river bottom, on the river bank. So hopefully that's a good sign. They don't have much longer left with the cornfield, but maybe something's in there that they'll push out down here. But huge change in weather conditions. Massive cold front rolled through. We actually got snow flurries going right now, so definitely have cold weather. Just, I don't know. Hopefully some deer move. Ran it out here for a couple hours, and maybe Bubbles or Junior will drag its bag through.
Rolling into 2023, I had a couple deer that I was really excited to see. One buck I call half rack, another buck I call splits. As the summer rolled on, splits started showing up frequently, and he just turned into a huge 9-point with a split G2. So I was extremely excited about that deer going into this season. That was pretty much where all my focus was. I went in, I put a food plot in this year. I've never done that. Food plot actually turned out for it being a drought. And still had no pictures of Squig, so I didn't know where he was living at all. Season opener rolls up. I roll up to North Dakota, and I'm actually going to the tree with Sam, and I finally get service, and I load my Tacticam app, and lo and behold, I had my first picture of Squigs. I think it was like September 3rd or 4th, somewhere around there, and he blew up from last year. Just super tall, perfect 10. You don't get much more symmetrical as far as he goes. So I had my first picture like September 3rd, that area. Then he was gone. No pictures of him at all. Roll into October, I get a picture here or there. We had some tiny cold fronts in October, and I had squigs 3 nights in a row. So I went in to hunt him, and he was a no-show.
Well, it is 4:30 here on October 14th. I'm back here at the river food plot. Last night at 3 a.m. squigs hit the scrape tree again in this plot, coming from the north going south. So the last time he hit this tree, he did it 3 nights in a row, and we've got a good October cold front. Like the highs right now like 40, 49 with 10 to 15 mile an hour northwest wind, so it's just blowing perfect over my shoulder into the back towards the river here. Earlier today I went to kind of scout and see what I could see, because I was filming a buck I called Halfback down at the city, and ended up finding him dead from EHD. So that makes buck number 3, and that was my number 1 buck going into the season on the hit lister. So right now we're at a pretty low spot, but all you can do is keep hunting. Like I said, Squigs was in here last night. He's another 5.5-year-old, so I think if I get the opportunity at him, he's not going to be lucky tonight. But I'm in the saddle. My dad's blowing me in the tree stand, so we're all squared away, and hopefully some deer come into this raggedy old food plot, or just move to this river bottom here tonight on this nice cool October 14th evening.
We're gonna head down the river. Everything's still in the tree, like I said, so we just gotta climb up there, put the cameras on, and knock an arrow. Hopefully we have some excitement tonight. Now we're in November, and Squig showed up, and within the last 5 days he was on trail camera 9 times to the north. So I knew he was in the area. I get all these pictures of him, and I go in to hunt him November 8th, and I'm walking out carrying the decoy, and I can see a deer in the field, so I pull up my binos, and it's Squigs, and he comes charging at me in the dark. I'm watching him through my binos. He comes from about 200 yards to 80 yards, and he is ready to fight me. So I knew that Squigs was in the area. So that goes to November 11th, last night. The only reason why I hunted the south end was just from history of last year, knowing that I had an encounter with him November 11th last year in that exact same tree. So I went in, southeast wind, which was blowing wrong for the way that stand's set up, but I gambled on them taking the back river trail, because if they did that, I'd be perfectly fine. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
It is the evening of November 11th here in Nebraska. We went back to the old trusted river farm. This is actually the first time I've hunted to the south end, which is where I've been spending the last majority of my years hunting. Reason being is there's been nothing in camera. Nothing. Deer sign is very limited. The thing that brought me back is last year on November 11th, I encountered Squigs right behind me 2 times in one night. So, just hoping that history will repeat itself and he follows the doe down here again, just like he did last year. But it's warm, it's windy, and there ain't a lot of deer in Nebraska, so we'll see if we even see anything tonight. We're set up in the old double brow stand where I killed my biggest buck in 2019. Maybe magic will strike twice out of this tree. we'll see what the night has in store.
But
The gamble paid off. Oh, the rut can change your season so dang fast. I'm sitting here at the river farm. I didn't even want to go tonight, but I was like, you know, last year on November 11th, I almost killed squigs in this exact tree. I'm going back for it. The wind's supposed to be a south. It's blowing straight east, completely wrong. Earlier there was 2 deer in front of me, but nothing like, didn't get much footage because they're in the thick stuff. I look over my right shoulder and here comes a doe, and behind her is freaking squigs. They come behind me. I'm pretty sure I got the shot on film. Well, I shoot him, shoot a touch forward. He goes around, he's still chasing the doe. I stopped him at 20 yards and shot him in the heart, and he's dead. 15 yards from the tree. I don't even know what just happened, but I'm tagged out in Nebraska with my first tag on a 5.5-year-old beauty of a 10 at the old trusty Double Barrel River Farm. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. God is so good. So good, so blessed to be able to hunt these animals. But he's dead at the tree. So, gonna be quick, easy drag, and we're gonna get out of here. Alright, well, my dad and brother just got down here. Definitely no track job needed. We're just looking at the first shot. So he came behind me, so I had to finagle around the tree and finagle around my camera arm. So I'm sitting like this, drawing back, facing backwards. My first shot was a touch forward. It got him like upper neck, but I mean there's blood everywhere. He's already dead, so we're just gonna get him jug out of here, go get some pictures taken, and just forever blessed here. November 11th in Nebraska, the trusty river farm, double barrel stand, 2 bucks in the same stand. Just been blessed down here on this property, so can't be more happy to put my tag on the buck that I deemed squigs. Last night was such a whirlwind of events. I mean, that's the first time I've sat at the river farm, the south end, all year. And the only reason I went down there is because from history last year,
I encountered him on November 11th chasing a doe. So I was like, well, I don't want to drive the new property again. I haven't been seeing much down there. I knew people were rifle hunting the north end, so let's go south. And the gamble paid off. I literally climbed in the tree about 4 o'clock, and I seen my first deer about 4:20, 4:30, and then at 4:40, 4:45, I looked to the south, and here comes a doe. And lo and behold, behind the doe was Squigs chasing her. I mean, just the way everything went down was so cool last night. Watching him lip curl. I've never seen a deer get shot and still try chasing the doe. He walked right out of frame right as I shot. So what happened was he turned towards me and started walking almost right at me. So I put the shot like in front of him, and it went through his neck and out his shoulder. And I mean, he was just gushing blood, ridiculous, still trying to chase the doe. And he gave me another 20-yard shot for a follow-up shot. And on old mature whitetail like this that I rutted up, I took advantage of it and drilled him on my second shot, and he went 10 yards and piled up 15 yards away. And couldn't be happier to wrap my tag on a buck that I call Squigs here in Nebraska. Just an absolute blessing to be able to harvest another mature deer down here, despite all the tradition, all the like the death from EHD and the drought and all that stuff. So extremely blessed, excited to be able to wrap my tag around another Nebraska stud.